started off with this basically. So I guess a reporter went up to Tyreek Hill and said, like, how confident are you that you're going to be able to produce numbers with Teddy Bridgewater at quarterback? And apparently Tyreek Hill looked him dead in the eyes and said, I'll put up numbers with you at quarterback.
It's elite.
I respect that. That is the alpha factor. Also, just want a moment of silence for everybody in the chat, for you at home, Corey, for myself as well. Javonte Williams on fucking both of my home league teams. Both of them 3-1, losing Javonte Williams for the year.
Yeah, I don't have him on any home league teams, but he was my hero RB in our listener Patreon league. So that definitely hurts. And I had quite a bit of him on underdog as well. So that sinks some teams also. So definitely not ideal with Javonte Williams going down. I'm sure you'll talk about. I talked about it in the TikTok today. Mike Boone's probably the number one waiver ad, depending on what you think of Tyler Algier and some of the other guys. I had him as the number one guy, just mainly because I think he's going to be the pass catching option most likely. I think he's going to end up, commanding the routes in the third down work. So I think he's a fine option, but I'm not going to drop like 50% of that.
He was close for me. Like I'm still like figuring out who my official top 5 are going to be, but I am a little bit worried that was probably just a reactionary thing from the Denver coaching staff losing Javonte Williams. And I am a little bit scared that opportunity share isn't exactly going to be what we expect, next week and going on. So Mike Boone obviously still well worth a waiver claim, but I am a little bit worried that maybe he becomes like a 30% opportunity share, 35% opportunity share guy. And on a bad offense, realistically, like how valuable can that be for fantasy?
Imagine saying that at the beginning of the year.
I know.
On a bad offense. Yeah, no, it's wild. Melvin Gordon's obviously the biggest winner of this, but who knows? Mike Boone's probably a decent pickup as well. I also think, I covered in the TikTok, Isaiah McKenzie's also a great pickup with Jamison Crowder going down for the year.
Isn't Isaiah McKenzie dealing with his own issues though? I thought he got hurt as well.
Probably be back soon.
Fair. He would be on my what's it called? Like they're probably rostered list, but I mean,
he's only 30% owned.
He's for 50% when I checked.
Okay. On when I looked, he was only 30%, and then the article that PFF wrote, they put him as 20%. I don't know what they're using.
Where did you see it? Like what percentage? Okay, I was checking Yahoo.
Yeah, I don't use Yahoo. But that's wild that Yahoo's actually sharper on something than Sleeper and.
Well, they're probably more reactionary. They saw him put up a couple points, and they're more willing to add him. Another one to monitor. He's going to be more so an honorable mention type of guy, but Sky Moore actually did see a significant bump in playing time. Still only ran 11 routes, but on those 11 routes commanded 4 targets. So if we keep seeing that steady increase in routes and he becomes a potential full-time player, I mean, he's going to be a number one waiver claim within the next few weeks, I think, given the upward trajectory we saw from his usage.
Yeah.
I'm really interested.
Pretty much every week we've seen a new rookie be the number one waiver ad.
Last week Pickens is going to be
George Pickens. If he's available, is the number one this week. I would say Dobbs was the number one a couple weeks ago, and we had Dotson was one of the number ones a few weeks ago. We're just these rookie wide receivers, if they're available, they're always good stashes, pretty much.
Go figure. The only one that hasn't done anything worth a lick is the one my team drafted. And David Bell.
Yeah, I mean, David Bell also could be another one of these guys in the next couple of weeks as well. His routes went up this past week. I think he ran the second most routes on the team.
Third most.
Okay, yeah, even still, like, I mean, he's getting the full-time slot role. And if, DPJ is nothing special. Eventually, I think he can beat him out.
Agree with that. There are a couple interesting names this week. Michael Gallup, first full game coming off of that torn ACL. Obviously could have played last week. Decided
he's
not to.
62% rostered from what I saw, though.
He was, I believe, 47% when I saw. So he made the Yahoo rounds.
The
reason why I mentioned
on Sleeper he was 62%, and I think on the PFF article they had him 60.
It's probably good that we're using different platforms, because if you're doing that on TikTok and I'm doing that on our YouTube, then at least like we're not talking about the same fucking players. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Anyways, we got some fellas in the chat here. Who y'all got tonight? I think the 49ers are going to win this. Everyone's kind of down on them right now, but I think I like the 49ers, and also I like the 49ers because I bet on the Rams money line. So I'm just going to try and reverse jinx myself, but I did bet on the Rams money line parlayed with Brandon Ayuk first touchdown score. So we'll see.
For all of you listening right now, 4 out of 5 on my parlay. Well, technical 4. I picked the Vikings -3. They won by 3 straight up, so that ended up being a push. But God damn it, Indianapolis Get your fucking heads together. I don't know how at home you're blowing that game to Ryan Tannehill and that makeshift Tennessee Titans offense, but
Indianapolis stinks. So
they suck. But I thought, okay, you know what? They limited KC last week. Maybe we see the defense dominate this game against Tennessee. Tennessee in the first half in particular were just moving the ball up and down the field. It was brutal. And for that game to cost me my parlay, it could have been, I could have made like $500 on that. No.
I would have made 2,500 if Deontay Johnson went over 80 receiving yards because I hit Freiermuth, I hit Lockett, and I hit Metcalf's alt receiving yards lines, and I parlayed those all together. And Deontay Johnson screwed me, but yeah, what are you gonna do?
By the way, so we got a super quickly from Atomic. I'll get to in a second. I just want to make a reference to one thing. It's gonna be gross because it's a 49ers running back, but guess who's fucking active tonight?
Marlon Mack,
Tevin Coleman.
Oh,
Tevin Coleman. He's back on the Niners, bro. How did he work his way back?
What happened to Marlon Mack?
I don't know. He's probably on the practice squad still. But
dude, I need my Marlon Mack shares to be saved.
I guess they signed Tevin Coleman and he's like somewhat relevant again. What are we doing here? I don't know. But either way, super chat from Atomic. Appreciate that. He says, just saying, hey, my Juggernaut Dynasty team hit yesterday finally. Brady, Eckler, Mixon. Yeah, no, you should be well within a position to win your league with that squad you got rolling out there, Atomic.
Right, but I think he said that he was like 0-3 or 1-2 or something before this week because all those guys were starting to underperform. Brady, Eckler, Mixon, Evans, CMC, all those guys were. I mean, CMC I guess was fine, but for the most part, all those guys were kind of underperforming.
Yeah, no, literally. By the way, can we? The funniest thing of the slate I still find was I remember about the third quarter or the start of the third quarter. I remember Josh Larkey on Twitter. He's like, for all of you guys who are Rashad Penny truthers, don't worry. The matchup must have been tough against Detroit. Am I right? Or something like that. He's spoken fun because Rashad Penny was doing nothing up until that point.
Yeah. And then he absolutely popped off in the second half.
Dude, and then I remember Frank Emerald, it was just chill out. The game's not even done yet. He could break away a long run. He ends up breaking away 2 and fucking. And it was Rashad Penny RB1 on the week.
I think so. Yeah, I mean, dude, Rashad Penny against the Lions is just RB1 on the season, by the sounds of it. He's like 100%. T.Y. Hilton against the Texans, Jonathan Taylor against the Jaguars. He just does the Lord's work against that team.
For real. We got a super chat from Mark. Pour one out for Javonte. Shaking my head down, bad gang. Yeah, no, literally, and you guys will hear it. I'll make reference to it, but basically, at least we got a somewhat upside waiver wire in terms of running backs available. You kind of mentioned Mike Boone's name. I really like Tyler Algier as an option. The opportunity share wasn't as high as we'd like to see, but again, Cordero Patterson banged up. They probably went in with a committee approach anyways. He's probably not going to be, a 75 plus opportunity share guy, but he commanded 6 of the 8 third down snaps for the Falcons, which is very crucial for a team that we expect to be in negative game scripts, to be in more passing game scripts as the as the season moves forward. And I mean, Algier looked much better, much more efficient.
He had 100 scrimmage yards on 11 touches. That's really good. He had a catch for 20 yards. He had a 42-yard run, a long of 42, I'm pretty sure. So yeah, he definitely looked pretty explosive. Are we trading Kittle and J-Rob to the Pitts owner for Naji? I don't know how the Pitts owner is relevant here, but anyways, Kittle and J-Rob for Naji.
That's a little steep.
I think that's a little steep. I seriously don't think there's a large difference between James Robinson and Naji Harris. I mean, there is a difference. I would rather have Naji Harris, but it's not George Kittle big.
Agreed. If this was Eckler or a running back like that, yeah, okay, I can probably stomach making that move. But Najee Harris, his ceiling outcome realistically, because they've dialed back his snap share, they've dialed back his opportunity share. I think his ceiling is a low end RB1. I don't see that top 5 ceiling that people were drafting him to be, because we expected him to be a 85% opportunity share, Leonard Fournette style workhorse back. And this guy's been getting 75% of the snaps. I don't even think he cracked a 70% route participation since week 1.
Yeah, no, and he's also getting none of the third down 2-minute drill work. Also, that's been taken away from him. So yeah, definitely not ideal. He also says, "What should I do with Miles Sanders and Dameon Pierce? I have Barkley and Zeke." I mean, if you do two for ones, maybe if you want to take Miles Sanders and Zeke and go after a better running back, or I'm more inclined to keep Pierce of those options that you have. I would see what you can get with Miles Sanders and Zeke.
I'd agree with that.
Big day for Pierce. Taking over some of the routes. He had 6 targets or 6 catches or something like that. Definitely huge day for him for sure.
I need to see the Dwayne McFarland report because
On his routes.
On his routes, yes.
I can look at it right now if you. I'll
it's
go
not
to the next
posted yet.
question.
It's not
Yeah,
posted
but
yet.
you can see it on Nate when Nate Janke does the game recaps. You can see how many routes he ran.
Yeah, but for do they? Because I've noticed a couple times that Janky like sometimes the numbers are different compared to the McFarland one.
Maybe, but they're usually relatively close enough that it doesn't really matter that much.
Someone offered me Kamara for my Brees and Njoku. Thoughts? Call me crazy. Brees and Kamara are not that far off.
Oh, dude, I straight up offered Calvin in my home league Dalvin Cook straight up for Brees Hall. I will literally do that right now. I don't even care. I'm gonna keep Madison. I'm not gonna give him Madison also because if I get Brees and Madison, then that gives me like more upside that way. And I sent him that trade, and he's like, dude, like he's all nervous about it. He's like, why are you? He actually texted me. He's like, why are you so good at this? And I was like, he's mulling it over for sure. Hopefully he takes that because honestly, I'm starting to think this year just isn't my year. Like the amount of injuries I'm suffering and shit. I'm like, this might not be my year, but I want to have more fun watching football on Sundays, and watching Dalvin Cook is not fucking fun. So,
well, dude, fucking like in my home league, I'm literally almost the top. Like if I'm not the top scorer, I'm at least a top 3 scorer in the league right now, 3-1, and now I don't have fucking Javonte Williams rest of the season. Yeah. And on that same team, I have Michael Thomas, who's been banged up. Jahan Dotson got hurt against the Cowboys, hamstring injury. I also lost what's his face, Traylon Burks. So
yeah, that dude, whole my home league team, decimated. Pat Freiermuth was my highest scoring player this week. Like my team is down tremendously. Like it's so bad right now.
Shout out Gerald Everett.
Yeah, I have Higbee and I have Hunt and Pollard and Khalil and Darrell Henderson. Yeah, so I mean,
I wouldn't give
Njoku's not a huge piece onto that trade though. Like I'm probably going to stick with Kamara slightly, but it's not outrageous. I think Brees Hall is probably on the same trajectory to say that like, if Kamara's a top 10 running back rest of the season, Brees Hall's still an RB1 or a top 15 running back.
So you would take the Kamara over Brees straight up?
I would slightly, yeah.
Okay, because that's basically what he's asking because he has the
Brees pretty much. I mean, Njoku, you have Higbee already. Like, I don't think it's a huge, upgrade or whatever. But and you're already pretty deep at running back, I would say. But I personally would go with Kamara. But that's close, man. Like, I really don't have conviction either way. So if you wanted to just hold, I don't mind it.
Yep, I agree with that.
Javonte Payne, yep. Mike Evans and TJ, damn, yeah, those guys had some big games. Teddy Tripod is the truth. Sup, boys? How you feeling now, Danny?
In terms of sickness, I'm feeling a lot better. I was a little sniffly for whatever reason this morning. I'm sure Bush will notice that from the video, but because he edited it. But I'm feeling a lot better. Ended up going golfing on Saturday once I started feeling like well up to my own standards. So appreciate that.
Yeah. Would you send out Curtis Samuel and Godwin for Chase?
Heartbeat.
Yeah. Well, I mean, if that's Debo, no. But if that's Curtis Samuel, then yes, I would do that.
Yeah.
But yeah, Godwin, definitely a guy that I would still say is a good guy to buy low on because he had 10 targets. He was out to a full route participation in that game, and that offense is going to be a lot better. And they're starting to get their pieces back. Donovan Smith was back. Ryan Jensen will be coming back soon. All the receivers are getting back healthy. So yeah, Godwin's definitely somebody might make an appearance in the buy lows video this week. Hey guys, what's going on? Donald, is Pitts dead or do we still have hope? 7 pass completions, SMH. Yeah. I mean, I don't know, man. This is why I didn't love Pitts coming into the year. I figured they were going to be a run-heavy offense. I knew, Mariota wasn't going to give them a ton of, like, bump in efficiency. And, I mean, to be honest, Kyle Pitts, I think he probably should have been a little bit more efficient than he was last year. So I'm probably not going to be in the camp of buying Pitts low unless you're going to get a really solid discount on him because I still think people are going to hold on to he's Kyle Pitts. He's like this generational prospect and I spent a 3rd round pick on him for most people. So it depends on his price. If you have Pitts, I'd say you're probably stuck just holding him. I don't think you should be shopping him. But I'm not necessarily busting the doors down to buy Kyle Pitts either.
Can we acknowledge quickly, too, that on a team that completed 7 passes this past week and threw the ball 19 total times, We still had alpha target Drake London command 7 targets on those 19 passes.
Yeah.
Like this guy is a fucking rookie receiver, and like it's almost automatic every single week. This guy's gonna be like heavily involved in the game plan. Which I love that they're doing it for Drake London, but also like we're gonna have Kyle Pitts running like fucking 50% of the routes. Like, are we serious?
Drake London's just better than Kyle Pitts, to be honest.
Maybe, but at the same time, wouldn't it be more advantageous for your offense to at least have a secondary receiver to Drake London?
Oh, it would, but I stand by that statement. I think Drake London's just better.
He could be. He very well could be. Drake London, for my money's worth, him, Olave, Garrett Wilson are probably the 3 favorites for Rookie of the Year right now.
Yeah, and I think Drake London by the end of the season will be the dynasty wide receiver 3, to be honest.
If CeeDee Lamb keeps it up, man, he could be up there.
I don't know, man. I still think people don't trust CeeDee Lamb. If Drake London, if we got a 1,300-yard, 10-touchdown season out of CeeDee Lamb, and we get an 1,100-yard, 8-touchdown season out of Drake London, I still think Drake London would be consensus wide receiver 3 over CeeDee Lamb, because we got a 24-year-old receiver versus a 21-year-old receiver also.
Fair. Yeah, it will be close, but dude, ever since week 1, like again, I tweeted it out today, like I replied to Harditz as a joke, but basically since that week 1, lockdown, everybody on the offense played bad. Like CeeDee Lamb has been an alpha, like top 5 receiver in the NFL in terms of his actual production.
Yeah,
so like,
dude, I tried to make some trades for him with Arnold after that week 1 game. I offered him, I think it was like DJ Moore and Darrell Henderson. He was like this close to accepting such a fleece, dude. Oh my God.
Well, dude,
I'm so mad that he didn't accept that, because I remember he was like, man, that's really enticing, like Darrell Henderson, because at the time Darrell Henderson had just been like a workhorse running back for the Rams in that game, and then DJ Moore obviously was still like a target hog guy coming in. We didn't know the Panthers would be as bad as they've been.
For sure. We actually got a super chat here from Night America. Appreciate that a ton. He says, should I trade Joe Mixon for Davante Adams? I have McCaffrey, Connor, Jacobs, Herbert running backs with CD, Waddle, Olave, London. So clearly you are stacked at both running back and
pretty
wide
balanced
receiver.
Team. I would rather have Adams than Mixon.
Agreed. So I would make this move, though. I do think that Mixon is actually one of the better buy low running backs right now, given the workload. But I mean, Davante Adams
he had a big game. I think people just wanted to see it.
He had an average game. Like
well,
17 points.
Yeah, I guess. I don't know. It was better than most of his other games so far.
Well, like it's crazy to me that he scored a touchdown and he had 28 total touches and he only scored 17 points. Like, how does that even happen?
He's inefficient. He always has been.
Fair. No, it's pretty crazy. Like,
Fournette is basically just efficient Joe Mixon.
A better version, yeah.
Yeah, they're just like, he's just like, add another yard per carry to Fournette and an extra 2 yards per reception. You have Joe Mixon, plus or whatever.
No,
what should I do about ETN? He will be in the sell highs portion of my trade targets video this week. I know we liked ETN coming into the year. I have not liked what I've seen out of him and James Robinson so far. We liked ETN on the basis that he was going to be a workhorse. And James Robinson's heavily involved. And most of the reason I imagine that ETN outsnapped him this week is because they were losing the game. And I actually think the Jaguars are probably going to be, if not winning more games, they're probably just going to be, relatively even game scripts. So I don't think that ETN's going to suddenly start outplaying James Robinson, because it looks like James Robinson is the better running back. So I'm going to say ETN is probably a sell high right now. If people are going to buy into the ETN that they drafted or that they wanted to draft, maybe if they didn't get him, then I would say, sell him for, if you can go ETN plus a piece for Breece Hall or ETN plus, whatever. I would rather have Dameon Pierce than ETN rest of the season, personally.
I would as well. Like Travis Etienne rest of the season is like a mid-end. I would take, like, he's like him and Pollard are in that area where it's like,
I don't think it's crazy to say that I would rather have Devin Singletary than Travis Etienne.
I don't think so either. Devin Singletary looks like a workhorse right now, man.
Yeah, dude. I don't like, that's what we're talking about. We're talking about like Miles Sanders, Devin Singletary, guys like that. Like, we're talking like back end RB2s over Devin Singletary or over Travis Etienne.
Yeah, like even like high end RB3s, I would say like he's in that like fringe top 30 range, I would say, for ETN, which I had him like close to as like a top 15 running back. So that really does take one on the chin there.
Yeah. I'm actually looking at some
comments.
pick'ems for Corey right now. One of the ones I kind of like is I've gotten duped by Cam Akers before, but 12.5 rush attempts is kind of intriguing to me on the high.
I like that one. Smash that.
That one's not bad. And I also I kind of like the over for Cooper Kupp's fantasy points, 17.45 fantasy points, just too low. I think that's a pretty solid bet to make. And I'll give you a pessimistic one as well that I don't like. I think 92.5 rushing plus receiving yards for Debo is a little high. So I'd maybe take the under on that one as well.
I'd agree with those as well. We could get back to the comments. Spicy saying, "Oh, Matt Stafford INT over he likes." Yeah, I would agree with that as well.
Yeah, that's not bad too. Price check on J-Rob and Superflex Dynasty. I would say he's probably worth an early second to a contender.
Yeah, I would say like early to mid second. If you're a contender, and let's just say like your second projects to be late if you're a contender. Like if you're a rebuilder, like would you take a contending team second and third? Do you think that's about appropriate?
I might want a mid second or higher for J-Rob if I have J-Rob and I'm a rebuilding team.
So
I would say there's probably like 20 running backs that are early second round value. Like there's not a lot of like separation between, like there's not many running backs I'd give up a first round pick for, but second round, they're like early second round value. There's probably 20 running backs that are like valuable contenders.
Bush, if that's the case though, and say only the contenders are reaching out to you, like what would you want?
They might not have an early second on their.
That's what I mean. So like, would you counter with like, say, hey, give me your 2023 and 2024 second, and I'll throw you back a third? Like, would you do something like that?
Maybe, instead? Yeah. Or I would just ask if they don't want to give me if I know their 2023 second is going to be late, I would just ask for their 2024 second then, and hope that they, their team kind of crumbles before they get to that point.
Yeah, definitely makes sense. Though I do think if you're asking for the 2024, you might be able to get some extra value on top because
maybe you can give them a 2024 second and J-Rob for a 2024 first.
Side note, for those of you watching, actually, I made a very similar move to that in our Tone Setter Truthers League with J-Rob to a contender with Could Be Better.
Is that what you did? Was it a second and J-Rob for
pretty much? Yeah, pretty much second and J-Rob for 2024 first. And he's contending, and he just lost Javonte, I believe. So it actually worked out for both of us. The reason why I'm mentioning this too is because contextualizing the market right now is very interesting because a lot of people are in that win, try to get that championship type of vibe. But if you're in a rebuilding spot right now, like there is so much mayhem, especially at the running back position, that you can get some extreme value. You mentioned there are a ton of running backs right now. Your Miles Sanders types, your James Robinson types, guys in that type of area that have seen their value increase tremendously. Like, yeah, they played well in their own right. Don't get me wrong, but there's a lot of fucking shit going on around them.
Yeah, no doubt for sure. Looking back at the questions here, we got is Jamal Williams a flex option for a couple weeks? As long as DeAndre Swift is out, he's definitely like a top 15 to top 20 running back just based on volume alone. Hero RB working so far for me, but I don't know who's my RB2, Pierce or Hall. I would say Hall is your RB2. But Pierce is a solid depth piece also. If I have a hero RB right now and I have like, I don't know, Eckler or Mixon or whoever your anchor running back is, and Hall and Pierce are your RB2 and 3, that is an awesome situation to be in. If the rest of your roster is built out like a hero RB would be with a strong quarterback, strong wide receivers, decent tight end or whatever. So not bad.
Yeah. Yeah, with Breece Hall, we saw the exact usage we wanted to see. I kind of made a little bit of reference to it in the running back start sit show, but we did see a little bit of an increase from weeks 2 to 3. But the increase we saw from weeks 3 to 4, like he's an every week top 15 running back. He was a legitimate like 65% of the opportunity share type of running back this past week.
And Zach Wilson still used him, which was nice because they used him. They had a wheel route too that he almost caught down the field. That was like a 50. It would have been like a 40-yard catch or whatever too. So it's not just that like Joe Flacco checked down a lot. It's that they're also deploying Breece Hall as a receiving option, which is definitely encouraging to see. Dylan says Boyd, Penny,
more Bateman.
So this is in my league. I know Amir is offering him Boyd and Penny. For DJ Moore and Rashad Bateman is the trade. So I would say do not take that. He is trying to sell high on Rashad Penny. I was at his shop earlier today, and he told me he wants to sell high on Rashad Penny. So I probably would not do that. We have a super if you want to go down to that.
Yeah, super chat from Corey Vance says, send me 5 picks after you guys wrap this up. If they hit, I got you in the next live. So very interesting. Corey, we're counting on your pick'em skills here. Send him 5 of your favorite pick'ems, and he's going to make them. And if they hit, then he's got us covered.
All right, I'll do them. I'll literally pull them up right now. So, if you guys are unaware, quick shout out to Corey for giving us an opportunity to plug our homies over at Underdog Fantasy. You guys can do awesome pick'ems like this. You can pick higher or lower on fantasy points, and all these stats. And if you use the promo code FSE at sign up and first deposit, you get 100% back. So if you put in $20, you'll have 40 to do some of these. So, like I said, if you want to stay away from Cam Akers, I understand it, but I have a feeling he'll actually get a decent amount of carries in this game. So 12.5 rush attempts. He doesn't have to be efficient. Just get the carries. That's all he needs to do. I don't mind that one. Spicy Hot mentioned the interceptions for Stafford. I agree on that one as well. So I'll just click on these. It's actually letting me build it out. What the heck?
I actually really like the hire in Darrell Henderson's receiving yards because he's been getting a lot of the receiving work over there, and it's currently lower than Cam Akers.
I like mixing in more lowers than that though. I like doing like 3x2. So like I like these 3 hires, and then I'm probably gonna go lower on like I said, Debo's total yardage here, and
I mean I think lower on Jawan Jennings is pretty fair.
I kind of want to go lower on Kyle Juszczyk's receiving yards.
Hey, I like the lower on Jawan Jennings there because I mean 6.5. He hasn't really been much involved since week 1. Week 1 obviously had like 62 yards, but since then he's realistically not really gotten many targets.
I'm actually gonna go lower on Ayuk's fantasy points because in half PPR, which is what Underdog is, you need a touchdown for him to get that probably because he doesn't get a ton of targets and he'd probably need a big play / a touchdown to get to 10.5 fantasy points or 10.25 fantasy points. So that's the pick'em line that I got here for Corey. If you want to hit it.
By the way, mentioning Jawan Jennings, so he had that 62-yard game in week 1, and since then he's commanded 5 total targets and he has 9 total receiving yards.
Yeah, I mean, you could definitely go lower on Jawan Jennings, or I don't mind the lower on Kyle Juszczyk, like I said too. Okay, let me go back up to this. I'm fucking down here.
Where we left off.
Okay, so we go. Rom says, "What's up, fellas? Just got in. What bets you guys throwing on tonight? Just put money on the Rams earlier." Yeah, like I said, I actually did a bet with the Rams money line as part of the parlay, and I actually have Brandon Ayuk first a touchdown score as the second part of that. So I'm kind of contradicting myself on the Underdog pick'em, but that is a $25 bet. It pays out $913, I believe, if I'm doing my math correctly. And then I also I had like a random one as well. Let me look. Oh, and then I also have Debo first touchdown score, and then Allen Robinson. Stupid idea betting on Allen Robinson, but I'm going to try it because the odds were too good. 60+ receiving yards. That's not too crazy, I don't think. And that is a $20 wager that would pay out $385. So those are the bets that I got going tonight. So go Rams. We're a closet Rams fan tonight, but it's probably going to be the 49ers because Kyle Shanahan owns McVay. So I don't have the energy to watch this. So I'm so sad about Javonte Sweet Prince. Exactly. Yo, boys, have 5 firsts in my 1 QB dynasty. Definitely in a productive struggle. Should I try and sell some picks for running backs? No. If you're in a productive struggle,
you want to lose.
Just draft running backs in this class, because then you get young running backs at the cheapest you're ever going to get them, which is in the rookie draft, and you don't want production now anyways.
I was talking to you about it earlier, dude, but like I don't know why productive struggle teams right now are actually scoring fantasy points. Like,
no, dude, it's because none of the win now running backs are doing well. That's why.
Like, dude, I have a league where I started in my lineup, I shit you not, Damian Harris, Tyler Algier, Hayden Hurst, Noah Brown, like even Baker Mayfield, Baker Mayfield was my lowest scorer out of those guys. Keep that in mind. And I'm going to be like a top 5 scorer in my league this week. Luckily, I faced a guy who dropped 200, so it keeps the tanking effort on. But like my team's about to put up 140 points, and my team is garbage. I have 20 picks in the first 2 rounds of the next 2 years.
Yeah, dude, I have one of my my Bitcoin team keeps doing really well because my receiver core is just insane. Like I have Jefferson, Marquise Brown, Drake London, like Garrett Wilson, Traylon Burks, and they're all like scoring points. Even though I have like Tyler Algier and Darrell Williams as my RB1 and 2, and Deshaun Watson suspended. He's not even in my super flex right now, so they're all just trolling. But my receivers are just carrying my team. Are we worried about Melvin Gordon's fumbling issues? I mean, not really. I think they pretty much have to give him the bulk of the work now. And Mike Boone, maybe if he keeps fumbling, Mike Boone works his way as like the starter, but I think Melvin Gordon is just a better running back. So
why does Mike Boone always find a way to like come out relevant in the NFL again every like 2 years?
Dude, Bobby Sylvester's got to be loving this right now. He is a Mike Boone stan back in the day.
He loves Mike Boone.
Would you do Joe Mixon for AJ Brown and PPR? I'd rather have AJ Brown, I think. In full PPR, yeah, give me AJ Brown over Joe Mixon, assuming you can handle losing a running back if you're the one giving away Mixon there.
Yeah, no, I agree with that.
I won back-to-back, even though I had J.K. Dobbins, Josh Jacobs, and DK Metcalf on the bench. Jeez, who was in your starting lineup that those guys were not? I understand J.K. Dobbins, but Jacobs and Metcalf probably should have been in your lineup. But J.K. Dobbins, that was an interesting development, 18 opportunities in that game. What was his snap share?
By the way, Spicy, you mentioned your 2-2. Did you actually get Melvin Gordon on that team as well? Because I know you got Madison and you got one hero.
Was it his Bash team?
Yeah.
And he has Gordon on that team.
Hunt, that's it. Hunt. I thought he had Gordon.
Insane.
My bad. Hunt and Gordon are like they just play the same.
Yeah, exactly.
What I was gonna mention too, Corey, week 1 when you lost what's his face, didn't you like almost like put a bunch of money on Mike Boone on the waivers?
No, I put a bunch of money on Jalen Warren, and then I forgot to. When I thought Naji was going to be down for a couple of games, I put a bunch of money on Jalen Warren, and I forgot to adjust my waiver bid because we went on the plane to leave Dallas, and I ended up spending all of my fab on Jalen Warren.
Oh my god!
But dude, my team has been hopeless from the very beginning. I told you, like last week, I had Keenan Allen out, I had Michael Thomas out, I had Amon-Ra St. Brown out, I had Trey Lance who's out for the year, Elijah Mitchell who's on IR. Like my whole team is decimated by injuries. So I kind of just
you also we knew you were chalked when you got Otto Burrow over Lamar in the first
literally.
round.
I've been screwed for time in that league. But anyways, who should I trade Aaron Jones for? I mean, if you can go after Fournette, that's the perfect guy that I would say to go after. Eckler already had the big game. Maybe still Mixon you can go after as well. I'm sick of saying to go after Kamara because he keeps screwing me, but I'd still rather have Kamara than Aaron Jones also.
Yeah. Also, can I quickly mention the Panthers offense is abysmal once again this week, but fuck, they're finally getting CMC involved in the passing game, baby. Let's ride.
Dude, this was supposed to be the get-right game for DJ Moore, by the way. The Cardinals are awful against fantasy wide receivers, and what did DJ Moore do? I actually don't even know.
3 for 43, I think. 3 for 43,
classic DJ Moore line.
Dude, what is I know what's wrong with him because did you see Baker's fucking QBR this year is like 25 worse than the next worst quarterback?
Yeah, it doesn't shock me.
Like, how do you even manage that?
Dude, my trade with D-Bell, I don't know if he's still in the stream right now, but it's aging like fine wine. Chris Godwin and Alex Madison for DJ Moore and Jahan Dotson. Oof. Jahan Dotson's out for like the next 2 weeks with a hamstring injury, and DJ Moore stinks.
Hey, DJ Moore actually had a better game than I thought. He went 6 for 50, Corey, okay?
Okay, it's a big game for him,
dude. But look, I love how McCaffrey had an 8 for 27 game on the ground, but because he was literally just dominant in the air, 9 for 81 and a touchdown. He's like a 27-point score this week.
Yeah. Hawkinson, man, need St. Brown to sit out more. Yeah, I actually tweeted out. I'm like, TJ Hawkinson only did well because DeAndre Swift and St. Brown. The St. Brown narrative on him.
But wait, side note too, I know we're worried about this guy's health too, but I mean, like James Conner's back to a workhorse role in Arizona. That's all I'm gonna say. So he might
still not fucking buying into James Conner, man.
You might be able to get him for low end RB2 value right now.
I don't know. I feel like because he was drafted as high as he was drafted, people might still hold on to that, but it's definitely possible. Yeah, and listen to Javon here real quick. I'll get to Steven's question in a second, but we only have 18 likes on this, and there's like
122 people in here.
That's slacking. What do I do for a trade with JT and Pittman or Waddle or Higgins to get 2 running backs? I'm lost on what to do because I had Javonte in both my leagues. I probably wouldn't tilt trade just because you lost Javonte. I would try and patch together. Like if you have Damian Pierce type and Mosterts and, Rashad Penny.
Tyler Algier.
Like just piece together running back 2 production. If you lose a running back 2, and it sounds like he's your running back 2 because you have Jonathan Taylor, I would say you're probably overthinking how much you need to fill out that production. You can probably patchwork that on the waiver wire and with your bench pieces, but definitely something that obviously stings losing Javonte. I heard not too good things about JT with his high ankle sprain that kills running backs. Yeah, it is not a high ankle sprain though. He is dealing with a low ankle sprain, correct?
Correct.
Yeah. Is that officially he's not dealing with a high ankle sprain, correct?
That's what I've heard. It's a low ankle. I know Doctor.
I heard that he's expected to play this week, or he's going to try and play at least.
I doubt that, but
let me get the official word because I'm pretty sure that it was shot down that it's a high ankle sprain. San Fran defense or Rams tonight?
Rams.
San Fran's at home. I'd probably go San Fran.
I'm going Rams because I would rather trust Jimmy Garoppolo to get my defense.
Stafford's more turnover prone than Jimmy Garoppolo is.
Fair, but there's a good chance that Stafford there's a better chance Stafford drops a 40 burger on you than Jimmy Garoppolo dropping a 25 burger.
I don't know. I'll take the home team that's favored. I'll take the process.
Fair. I respect the process. That makes sense. On you.
Yeah, sorry, I'm just there's no like details that I'm finding. If anyone
Fair.
sees it, let me know. Yeah, so we already answered that. I would say, yeah, Godwin and Samuel. I'm definitely down to get Chase with that. Rebuilding team, should I try and sell
Yes.
CH for
Yes.
Javonte? Dude, if
Yes.
somebody's willing to give you Javonte Williams for CH, that's insane.
They
So
deserve the boot from the league if they're
yeah,
offering
literally.
that.
So I'm gonna move. Javonte was my RB2 in Dynasty. I have to move him down. Like I have to, like a little
RB4?
bit at least. He's gonna be RB5 probably behind.
Yeah,
Uh,
Najee?
yeah, I think so.
I can't do that because
Dude, he's gonna be coming off of a multi-ligament ACL tear, contact ACL tear.
fair.
It's not ideal.
We don't want
He's
it to be
got
a
to go
Dobbins
down a little
scenario.
bit.
We
What?
don't want it to be a Dobbins scenario for us where like we love the player, but we know the experience of the running back position and what
Exactly. Yeah,
typically
and
happens in
I
these
would say
spots.
we were a tad too high on J.K. Dobbins, but it hasn't killed us completely. So definitely not ideal. But Javonte, if you can get him for that, like yeah, by all
Yeah.
means, go after him. But if
I tried
people
to
are still
offer
willing to give you relatively like 95 cents on the dollar, I would still probably take it for Javonte if you wanted to sell on him. But
I
anybody
thought
who's in a productive struggle, like a 3-year rebuild or whatever, it's just a value accumulation piece. Javonte
yeah.
Williams will go up in value. So I do think he's a good piece to go out and acquire, not necessarily just bank on him coming back to full strength and being 100% for your winning window, but just as a value accumulation piece.
Yeah, dude. I actually offer for Javonte in that league that I have a ton of picks. Kind of lowballed though. I'm not gonna lie. I mean, you kind of have to just to gauge like the reaction because a lot of people are reactionary after the injury. But I offered, I think, Michael Gallup, Hayden Hurst in 2 seconds for Javonte. 2023
Yeah,
seconds. But
that's a pretty cheeks offer.
I mean, do you think his value right now in the market's worth a 2023 first straight up?
Yeah, I do.
But like, it's close there. I think.
Yeah, I have in one of my leagues where I'm in a productive struggle, I have only 2 firsts left because I told you I traded away 3 firsts for Justin Herbert. I might actually trade my late first, not my own, but it's Noah's first, and it's going to be late. I might see if I can get Javonte using that one. If I get the guy who has Javonte, I can go the 2023. I have like 7 seconds too, so I might just give him that
The
and like a
classic.
2, like a 1 and a 2. And see if he'll do that. Maybe I can throw in another piece on top of it. But I'm cool sitting on Javonte Williams for like a year and a half because I'm not going to be ready to compete quite yet anyway.
Also, so mentioning Javonte, right? About 2023 first, let's just say hypothetically in value. Where are you leaning in terms of Trey Lance valuation? Like, if you're obviously in a productive struggle, you're going to be looking to buy, but like, what's the cutoff in terms of price that you'd be willing to offer for Lance right now?
Mid to late first and a second probably is all I'm willing to give. Because I do
Makes
think
sense.
there's legitimate concern for his long-term job security because he's got to take a step forward immediately in his 3rd year, and that's a lot of pressure for a young quarterback. So I do think it's not an ideal situation. Same goes for, I mean, Javonte is getting screwed, man. Like this is 2nd-year running back. This is your prime, man. Like you just got screwed out of probably 2 of your prime years because you no longer get this year, and you're going to be recovering from a compound ACL tear next year. So it's not ideal, man. We're looking at it's the same exact thing that happened with J.K. Dobbins. Right into his 2nd year, he tears his ACL, and it screws his entire rookie contract up for the most part. So hopefully Javonte can get back on the field ready to go next year. But he's probably going to be a health question mark all next summer. We're going to be talking about it all next summer again, just like we were with Dobbins this year.
Wasn't it literally a similar tear to Dobbins as well?
It was, yeah. It was a contact injury, and it was a compound tear, just like Dobbins was. LCL damage, just like Dobbins was. So it's probably going to go to the same exact surgeon too.
Yeah, and I mean, with Dobbins, it happened in the preseason. Javonte happens week 4, so you're assuming that he's about 6 weeks behind of where
he'll probably be
Dobbins
a pup candidate. And if he's not, we're going to hear the exact same shit we hear about ACL tears every year. He's going to be ready for week 1. Like we're going to hear it right away.
I'm not
probably not going to believe it until I see him on the field for training camp that he might be ready for week 1.
He's someone you probably can't touch in redraft because again, if he lands on the pup, if you know you're going in missing your starting running back 8 weeks, probably, let's just say hypothetically, because I mean Dobbins returns in week 3. Yeah, again, I kind of mentioned in terms of outline, Javonte had it about 6 weeks later. So yeah, it's a weird situation, and especially in redraft, he's probably still going to find his way into the top 5 round picks, right? So I mean, if he's going as a top 5 round pick and you might not have him for the first half of the season, it's tough to regain those wins if you're losing, 6 out of your first 8.
Yeah, he'll be like a dead zone running back this next year for sure, guaranteed. Because you also got to worry about too, like coming off of the ACL tear, with the same concern we have with Dobbins. Are they going to give him a full workload coming off the ACL tear? Because it's definitely possible that they keep Melvin Gordon around or they draft a running back in next year's draft, whatever the case is. So Dan says, are you guys looking to trade Hollywood Brown with Hopkins coming back? I'd probably say no, because I think a lot of people know what you're doing when you're trying to do that, because I feel like everybody knows that Hopkins is coming back. But it all depends. Like I'm willing to trade anybody for the right value. So if somebody's going to give you equivalent value for Hollywood Brown and you want to use that as a tiebreaker, by all means, go ahead and trade him. Is ETN a viable rest of season flex? I'd say that's pretty lofty projection for him right now.
Low end flex.
Yeah, low end flex, top 36 running back, but probably not more than that. Are we worried about Elijah Moore's usage? No. He's still running most of the routes. I'm a little concerned that Corey Davis keeps getting targets, but again, I know we sound like broken records, keep saying like buy Elijah Moore, but I think he's going to be just fine.
Oh, yeah. We actually got a super chat here from our Gravy. Rams 49ers D. He needs 7. If you need 7, what would you like classify as a safer play out of these two?
The 49ers, they're favored and they're
it's fair.
They're at home.
Yeah. I said Rams earlier, but I mean, this is so close. Take your pick. I would go 49ers.
Yeah, I don't think it's a crazy like landslide, but I'll just lean with the favorite and the home team. Do you guys feel better about ETN after this week or worse? I feel better about him for sure, but I'm gonna sell him if I have him.
Yep.
How are you guys feeling about Kenneth Walker from a dynasty
perspective?
He's gonna be a huge buy low. Like I'm gonna do a video later this week, probably on like Saturday, of dynasty buy lows, and I'm probably gonna let me know if you guys think this is a good idea. I might segment it for contenders and for rebuilders. So like I might talk about 5 guys that are great buy lows for rebuilding teams, and then 5 guys that are great buy lows for contending teams that need production, and then maybe I'll talk about some sell highs for both as well. So Kenneth Walker will absolutely unequivocally be one of the biggest buys for rebuilding teams, 100%.
Yep, agree with that.
Javonte owner here, would you trade Pittman for Breece Hall? That's a little rich. I think I would hold Pittman.
If you can work that tier down, like you mentioned Marquise Brown.
I think his running backs are just fine. That's why I probably wouldn't do it. Like CMC, AJ Dillon, Henderson, and Brian Robinson, like I'm cool with those guys. Oh, Danny's lagging on me. I don't know if I'm lagging or if he's lagging. Okay, this must be him. Let me know if this is him or if this is me. Okay, I'm going back to this. I think this is Danny that lagged out, so I'm just going to keep going. He says rebuilding, Justin Jefferson, Garrett Wilson, ETN. I have 8 firsts. I'm thinking of trading Hollywood, Deontay, 2023 late first for Chase. I just don't want to be taking 2 steps back, rebuilding for another year. Oof, that's a lot of shit going on here. That's a lot of value to give up for Chase, but honestly, I think that's I'm fine doing it, knowing that you have that many first round picks. So I think that's a pretty solid move to make. I'm just going to change up my layout here. Okay, so I'm just gonna rip through like some more questions here because like I'm way behind on here. There's like 200 of you in here, so definitely appreciate all the support. If you guys haven't already subscribed to the channel, go ahead and do that. If you haven't liked the stream, go ahead and do that. If you haven't checked out earlier's video today, Dynasty Decisions, we talked about some Dynasty relevant stuff. If you guys play Dynasty, I highly suggest you watch that. Hit a $60 win on the over of Mike Williams receptions, Khalif Raymond, and Khalil Herbert's yards. Geez, that is a gutty one there, Spicy. These guys are great. Don't forget to subscribe and like. Appreciate that, Lance. Early August draft, Chase, Saquon, Cam, ETN, Cooks, Burrow, Elijah Moore, Hawkinson got me, Pierce, and Dotson propping me up. Yeah, that's a pretty solid looking squad there. 75-yard run. I believe we're referring to Dameon Pierce with that. Traded a 2023 second and Alec Pierce to get Dameon Pierce. Pretty sure it wasn't a great trade, but with my league being reactionary, if I wanted to flip Dameon Pierce for more, I can win. I can with this big game. Yeah, I would say that's not a terrible like trade to make though, because like Alec Pierce hasn't really shown anything yet, so there's a good chance he could end up just being like a face planner who has like late 3rd round value after this season. And in that case, a 2023 second for Dameon Pierce plus a face planner, like I don't think that's a terrible trade whatsoever. And like you said, you can always flip Dameon Pierce for more. Who's your top 10 rookies thus far compared to the rookie draft ADPs? I actually really like this question. Feel like Olave has been the biggest riser on James Cook, the biggest faller. Chris Olave was my 106 coming into the season, so he hasn't really moved for me. You can make the argument now that maybe you take him over Treylon Burks, but we already had Chris Olave quite high, so I'm not really too concerned. Yeah, I knew you fucking lagged out. What are your thoughts? This is a really good question. What are your thoughts on the top 10 rookies now compared to the August ADP? So if you had to draft a rookie draft right now, how are you drafting it?
So
Top
you
two
still
don't change for me. Brees and
yeah
London are still 101 and
yeah
102.
Hall London. I would say you have to go with Garrett Wilson now.
He was already my 103. So looking good so far for my
Then after that, you got a big tier. Honestly, like
I think you definitely knock Kenneth Walker down. I think probably Chris Olave is the 104 if I had to guess. Maybe
that's
you
what I was
want
gonna say. Olave or Burks, though.
Yeah, I think it's Olave and Burks, and then even though we haven't seen Jameson Williams yet, I think I would still take Jameson Williams around that range, and then Kenneth Walker kind of mixes in there too. The other thing too is that
Dameon Pierce.
Kenny Pickett might be a little bit higher because he's looked a lot better than I expected. So if I had to say, I think Kenny Pickett would probably be belonging in the top 7 or top 8 overall players.
Don't you guys worry? We will do a dynasty rookie draft redo at some point, because that would be an interesting video concept. Basically, like if you were to do it right now, the dynasty draft, how would everything change? And I mean, we could be talking about Jameson Williams potentially be one of the biggest risers from that time that video comes out. I don't know whether it's going to be later in the season or earlier in the season, but when he comes back, like if he goes out and has like a Jalen Waddle type role where he's getting like 100 yards a game and they're using his speed and yak ability to his best advantage, like Jameson Williams could be a top 5 dynasty receiver.
Oh yeah, Jameson Williams has the ability to rise like crazy. He just has so many has so much big play upside that everybody's going to be super, super excited about him. It's the second they see him prove something. And then I'd say like closing out the top 10, I'd say like George Pickens, Jahan Dotson have shown enough to say that they would probably be around that area as well. And that's probably, and maybe I don't know. I don't think you put Dameon Pierce up there quite yet though. Would he crack the top 10 or no?
Late first.
Yeah, I think he'd be 111, 112 type of area because I think I still would
that.
rather Dotson and Pickens than him.
I agree with that. By the way, I just want to quickly address this. I see it at the bottom, but I mean, I agree with Wayne completely here. Rams can take this win, take the dub, get your win, get your confidence. But next week, sorry, Rams, you're going to have to give up that home advantage to the Cowboys.
See, I don't like what's happening. So the game is on right now. If you guys want to see me live tilt, the Rams are on the 30-yard line. And I have 2 bets that involve first touchdown scores, and both of which play for the San Francisco 49ers, which I didn't take into account because I have a Deebo first touchdown bet and a Brandon Ayuk one. So I'm going to need them to hold them to a field goal here because I'm a little nervous.
They're showing Tyler Higbee. I thought that was Ben Skowronek for a second.
Michael Thomas or Olave rest of season. What are you taking? This is a legit conversation.
Thomas.
I'll take Thomas slightly, but it's not a big gap. It's like we're talking top 20 receiver versus top 25 receiver.
Yeah, no, I agree. That's a fucking good question.
Yeah.
On you, brother.
My team is pretty good. I'm 3-0 and scoring the most points, but I have Kyle Pitt's team is Allen, Barkley, Pierce, Jefferson, St. Brown, Dylan, Olave at flex. Should I try and get a better tight end? I think I would just hold Pitts. He'll be okay.
The only way
team is really, really strong. Like you have so many advantages at other positions, like with Josh Allen and with Jefferson and with Barkley. Like I'm totally cool just holding Pitts.
The only way I'd consider a move like this if it was like, Dylan and Pitts for like Travis Kelce. If you did something like that, maybe, but like other than that, I think Kyle Pitts should be fine.
Yeah, for sure. Ethan, appreciate your thoughts on the Brees Hall Kamara trade. Hit the like button, y'all. Yeah, definitely. I'm gonna answer like 2 more questions, and fucking Christ, Higbee just got another first down. Blake says Nyheim Hines and Melvin Gordon both strong starts on Thursday. I'd say Gordon for sure. I don't think it's a guarantee that Taylor is out, and even if he was, I would say Hines is still probably like a top 30 running back, top 25 running back.
Yeah, no, I agree with that.
Pick up Dulcich. He'll be back week 5. Yeah, I noticed a lot of people talking up Dulcich. He's expected to come off of IR, and Alberto hasn't really been special thus far, so I don't think that's a bad pickup call either. But either way, like 200 of you guys in here, definitely appreciate
that.
All
Peak at about 220.
Yeah, if you guys are new around here, definitely hit the subscribe button. We got waiver wire stuff coming tomorrow, streamer stuff coming tomorrow as well. Over on the TikTok, there's my top 5 waiver ads of the week over there already. We're going to talk trade targets on Wednesday, as we always do. Thursday, we're going to do wide receiver starts and sits and all the matchups and the usage. Friday, running backs. And then Saturday, I'll break down some trade targets from a dynasty perspective as well. So definitely stick around if you guys haven't already. Hit the subscribe button. Check it out. We talked about some underdog pick'em lines as well. Check out promo code FSE over there. You can do second half lines too, even if you missed the start of the kickoff. So definitely check all that stuff out. But yeah, peace out. Enjoy the game.